Hey, assalamu alaikum, Maha. Can you see me?
I see
I
you.
can. Yes.
All right.
I can see and hear you clearly.
Okay, good.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so on behalf of the South Florida Muslim Federation and the South Florida Muslim community at large, I welcome you all to this introduction to the South Florida Muslim community. I thank you for taking the time midday on a Thursday to join us. This is the beginning of an outreach effort to ensure that our community continues to be involved in the South Florida community at large. So here is our brief agenda. We are going to give you a very quick overview of what the South Florida Muslim Federation is. Nizar Hamzi will give you a brief history of the Federation and of the Council of Imams, and then we'll let you know how we can help you. And that will include an introduction to the Community Outreach Committee that we have and Social Services Council. And then we want to open the floor and hear from you to see exactly what it is that we can do to help you. So again, on behalf of the Executive Committee and the staff of the South Florida Muslim Federation, we welcome you. And these are our current members. And as you can see, the South Florida Muslim Federation is an umbrella organization encompassing over 35 South Florida Muslim entities. And those entities include everything from social service agencies to women's groups to youth groups and mosques, civil and political engagement groups, as well as civil rights entities. Our board of directors and our executive officers are all elected by the South Florida Muslim community by a majority vote. So it makes us unique in that we are representative of the entire South Florida Muslim community, regardless of cultural differences or theological variations. And you can get more information on our website, soflowmuslims.com. If you want to reach out to us directly, if you have a request or something that you need from the Muslim community, you can reach us by email at info@soflowmuslims.com. So without further ado, I introduce Nizar Hamzi, who is the president of the South Florida Muslim Federation, to give us a brief overview of its history.
All right. Can you hear me? I'm sorry I keep asking, but I'm on my phone because I'm on break. So can you hear me and see me okay, Maha?
Yes,
We can hear you.
clear.
All right, fantastic. Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone taking their time on Thursday. My name is Nizar Hamzi. I'm the executive director of the South Florida Muslim Federation. And before I talk about the Federation history, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that the South Florida Muslim community has been here for decades. As far as we can early record, the members of our Federation, and I believe Sister Patricia, one of our executive committee members, is on this call. Their mosque, Majd al-Ansar down in Miami-Dade, they were actually started in 1968. So I just want you guys to know that the South Florida Muslim community have been part of the South Florida community and part of the fabric of the South Florida community for many, many decades. This is not new. The Muslims are not new here, and I'm sure a lot of you know that. So let me talk briefly about the Federation. As I mentioned, as Maha mentioned, there are several dozen organizations that are part of the Federation: Islamic centers, nonprofit organization, other NGOs like civic engagement organizations, and need organizations like financial need or food or shelter type needs. These are the all of the types of organizations that we'll get into a little bit later throughout the presentation. In early 2017, I was part of a different organization, Care Florida. I was the executive and operations director for that organization. And we came together and we said, hey, how about this great idea? How about let's all, come together and work together and all kind of point our efforts in the same direction, right? So we're not duplicating, we're not wasting, resources. We are truly speaking with the voice of the Muslim community, meaning we gathered all of the Muslim organizations together. I think we've, like I said, I got several dozen, about 3 dozen now. And we elect from that leadership, the leadership of the Federation. So all of the people that you see in the executive committee were elected by the South Florida Muslim community to represent them in their leadership role. So I think it's a very important point because there's several organizations and everyone does great work. But as Maha stated, we're very unique because we're a very democratic run organization. We have elections biannually for different positions within the board. The board selects the executive director, myself, and the staff that that are running it. So it's unique because we're taking how we run our government in a democratic society, and we're applying that to how we are running our community. Taking one aspect of it. So all the members of the executive committee that you see that are on the slides or when you visit the website, those are actually elected from Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, from the majority of the Muslim community leadership, in that area. So we met in 2017. Like I said, we said, hey, this is a great idea. Let's all work together. We had a retreat. Most of the people, that came together the first town hall, they went on their retreat and said, hey, how are we going to do this? How are we going to institutionalize the business of the South Florida Muslim community from soup to nuts, from A to Z? How are we going to get our voice out? How are we going to reach out to law enforcement? How are we going to work with other NGOs? How are we going to make sure our voice is representative in issues in society that are affecting the Muslim community? And that's what we did. So we came together and we made a structure and an infrastructure and institutionalized how the Federation is formed, how everybody's elected. And then in 2018, it was finally done officially. And then the first set of elected leaders took office, and they ran and did their position. And since then, we've had one election. I believe we have another election coming up. So it's very fluid. The leadership is always changing, and we're wanting fresh voices, including myself, more fresher than me, to come in and lead the Muslim community and make sure that our best foot is put forward, in dealing with the greater community. So that is the raw history of the Federation. We have, since our inception, accomplished many very important projects together, working with the greater community, other NGOs outside of the Muslim community, and they'll get into that, a little bit later. I want to say before I shift to the next subject, I know a lot of you. I know some of you. I don't know a lot of you, but I can tell you that the American Muslim community is extremely diverse. I think alone in South Florida, we have just about every ethnicity, language, and nationality we have within the Muslim community makes up, and that's how diverse we are. Not only as far as where we're from, but also the particular sect of Islam that is followed. There are a couple different sects. You know, we have the Sunni community, we have the Shia community, but we're all brothers and sisters. We all work together, and we all want to make sure that our best foot is put forward and that we have everybody's best interest at heart when we're working on projects. And I'm sure Maha will get into that as we get a little bit further into the presentation. So that's our raw history regarding the Federation. I think, Maha, I'm going to go over the Imams thing. That's what you have me next, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So in Islam, there's no hierarchy. Let me give you an example. Let's say, to give you an example, like the Catholic Church, right? You have a hierarchy that goes up, you know, all the way up to the Pope. So we don't have that in Islam. We have different schools of thought. We have different sects of the religion. And there's no one body or one hierarchical body that makes decisions and it's put down. The Muslims believe, we believe, and we follow, we believe the teachings of the Quran and the teachings of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So that is our guidance. There are societal issues that come up that need all of our scholars to address. So here you have a slide where we have the Council of Imams that we have brought together. So these are the majority of our Islamic scholars, Imams and Sheikhs down here in South Florida. So we originally brought this group together to make sure that our Imam's voice is heard. And let me give you an example. We see in most operations in any particular community, not just the Muslim community, that different disciplines are used when making decisions on big decisions that affect the community. So the Council of Imams, we thought, and we still maintain, that our teachings of our deen, of our religion, are very important. And we should try to include the teachings of our deen in every decision when we make it, if it has to do with the well-being of the Muslim community and the greater community, that we have our religious scholars weigh the issue, that we bring issues to them, and we ask for their advice based on the teachings of the Quran and our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So we brought this group of Imams together. We've tackled several issues from child abuse, from spousal abuse. We've had different trainings that the Imams come in, youth, drug abuse and addiction from youth, and also the recent COVID pandemic that we're going through. We brought all of our Imams together, and we brought, not only did we bring science, we also brought a spiritual aspect and a spiritual approach to this pandemic, because there was a lot of pushback from the Muslim community regarding closing the mosque. And I'm sure we have brothers and sisters from other different faiths from closing churches or synagogues. There was a lot of people that were pushing back because that is their connection, right? It's a very spiritual place for them. They want to go there every week or every day to pray. And how dare we, right, close the mosque? How dare we make that decision? So this group of scholars came together at the lead of our president. I believe Samir is on the call. I don't know if he's going to be addressing you, but he took that responsibility, and we gathered the Council of Imams and said, this is the pandemic that we're currently in, and this was regarding COVID. These are the challenges that we're having. This is the feedback we're getting from the community. These are the feedback that we're getting from the doctors. What should we do? So Samir put everybody together. We actually got an infectious disease doctor, a nationally recognized infectious disease doctor. We brought together our Imams. They had a conference call, a Zoom call like we're doing now. They spoke about the issue in detail. There was back and forth. And from there, the Imams put out strong recommendations to the community, right? So this is the first time that anything like this has ever happened in a coordinated effort, where we have over 36 Muslim organizations in South Florida, all working in the same direction under the leadership of our, Islamic scholars. So this is a product of the Council of Imams. Again, these guys are our backbone of our faith. They maintain the knowledge, they share the knowledge, they guide our families. So that's what this working group looks like. There was, I see that the change was flagged with everyone knows with the racial inequity in this country, specifically regarding some law enforcement activities and the members of the minority community, the African American community. The Council of Imams came together and said, we stand against any form of racism. Enough is enough. We need to work together. This is another example of the Imams coming together to work towards societal change. And that the reference was timeline there. So I think I'm up. I think I did my job. Maha, did I do okay?
You did your job. You did a good job. You did a good job. So Nazar has limited time with us on this meeting. And so I was going to open the floor for questions at the end of this meeting, but if anybody has any questions that they want to ask of Nazar specifically, you can go ahead and unmute and ask those questions before he has to depart. Are there any questions, comments?
Hi, Maha. This is Kirk Brown. Wonderful, wonderful event. Really appreciate being invited. So Nazar, in regards to the Muslim community and child welfare, I heard you said you guys met as a team in regards to that. Is there any feedback or anything of guidance that, as a community, that we, the practitioners within this child welfare system, would need to know from your community in regards to serve you better?
Thank you for the question, and I'm putting my ear to you. I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just trying to hear the question. So thank you for the question. I'm not in an environment that I can put headphones on. So your question was regarding to childcare. What can we do to serve you regarding childcare? Can you repeat the question?
What can the practitioners in the child welfare system do better in order to serve the Muslim community at a greater capacity?
Nazar,
Okay.
I could take this question. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I was gonna turn it over to Maha because she's actually would be the SME or the subject matter expert on that. But I can tell everybody for that line of questioning for everybody that the most important thing is to reach out to the appropriate organization for that education. So the gentleman that just asked that question had a very specific question regarding the practitioners of child welfare. So we have subject matter experts within the Muslim community that will answer. Maha just happens to be that one at this particular point. And I can tell you that the reoccurring theme that we're going to be able to offer everybody, which is a very unique service, is education. Education that goes beyond the textbook, education that goes beyond the Dr. Google search. You're going to be able to get a one-on-one education from a subject matter expert that has experience in their field. And that's what the Federation can bring to you. So I hope that answered your question, sir. I think it did, but more specifically, I'll let Maha jump in on that specific answer.
yeah, thank you, Nazar. And thank you, Mr. Brown, for joining us. It's an honor to have you. As you can see, there are several people from the same background. We have Christine Espedeas here. We have Coach Benaby here, and a few others. And, child welfare, when I was involved in child welfare, that was one of the things that I would see groups and groups of Muslim children entering the foster care system. No one knew that they were entering. No one knew they were up for adoption. No one knew they had religious needs. None of that happened. And it just happened to be, if I stumbled across them, I would say, oh, wait, here, do you need this? Do you need that? I've had kids in the foster care system who were up for adoption, and they had, beautiful names, and their foster parents were amazing, had a huge sibling group, and they just did not know what their names meant. And they just, when I met them, they said, well, Maha, can you tell them what their names mean or the importance of their names? And that comes a lot with identity and knowing who you are. So like Nazar said, once you email, remember that first where it says info@soflomuslims.com. If you email that account, it goes to our, it goes to Sana, and she redirects your question to whoever the expert is in our community. whatever entity would be able to help you. If it's something personal and you need a training, whoever is, certified in giving that training, we will provide that to you. So your questions that are specific like that, whatever your needs are, we want you to direct those to that email account so that we can reach out to you and send you the appropriate person to help you. And that's why essentially you're here. So I've done one training for the independent living program, and they just loved it. And it was just, and it was so rewarding for me, to be able to reach out and help them. Miss Fideas. Yes, you have a question.
Yeah, I do. Along the same line, since Kirk brought this up, let's keep with the topic in child welfare. Florida's DCF has made a big push to have faith-based communities involved in becoming foster parents and getting involved with the children in the system. And every meeting I've gone to, it is one religion only, and it is one type of Christianity. So I do not see the Jewish community included. I certainly don't see your community included at all. Has anyone reached out to you as an organization, or do you know if to your separate organizations to be involved in this?
Okay, not in that particular project, which is why we're here today. And I would love to have us involved in that. It comes to a shock. Sometimes I give the training, like at the different mosques, and I tell them, listen, you need to go get MAP training. There are children in foster care. You don't know that they're there, and they are there, and they need help. And every time I gave that training, it's like this sense of shock, as if, there's no Muslim kids in foster care. We need more of that, to be honest with you. And although the Muslim community has a history here in South Florida, truth be told, it has also been quite isolated. And that could be maybe just, especially recently with Islamophobia on the rise, it's like this fear. And we want to change that narrative. So the short answer is no, but we need to be more involved. And there are people in our community who want to be involved. And there are several religious entities that would love to dive into this. So maybe you and I can get together and make that happen. Because I agree,
I'd sure like
it needs
to talk to you
happen.
about that. I do, because I know
Okay, definitely.
the children. It's the children that we worry about, and it's their cultural. They're losing their culture. There's language. There's religion. All of that's tied together, and I don't want to tell you the stories that we know of what happens to children that are not Christian that are brought into these homes. So they do.
Yes, I am very, very
broader base of families out there to help with children in care. Thank you.
And I thank you for bringing that up. It's definitely a critical point. And the reason we have this forum, and many of you are coming from different, areas of practice or, different occupations, is because, it would take a long time for me to meet with each and every one of you and have this meeting. But just to have an overview and to let you know, hey, reach out to us, we're here. And you don't have to figure out who it is. All you have to do is email us and we will figure it out for you and get you whatever services you need. And it doesn't need to be, based on the Muslim community. Our services reach out to the community at large. If you all need social services, we feed people, we clothe people, whatever we need to do as Muslims, advocating for justice. If there is an injustice against any group, it is our absolute duty to stand with you against that injustice. And I want you to reach out to us and tell us, hey, we have this problem. This is what you can do to help us.
Maha, can I just say something and jump off here soon?
Of course.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
All
can
right.
hear you.
All right. So guys, I'm sorry. I have to run. I know they're going to continue the call, and I'm sorry I'm on duty, so I was on lunch, so I can't stay on the call. But I just want to finish with this, that it's extremely important that everybody on the call understand and realize the South Florida Muslim community is extremely talented. we have so much talent and so much resources that we can contribute to the greater community. It's just a matter of everybody tapping in and being connected, you know, with the right individual. And the Federation gives us that platform. It's a true democratic platform where whatever need, whatever particular discipline, it doesn't matter what it is. Listen, we have law enforcement officers, we have attorneys, we have military personnel, we have physicians, we have blue collar workers, everything that you think of, we have, the South Florida community has, and we have subject matter experts that are willing to contribute to the greater community. So that's what I'm so happy and proud that Maha put this call together, so to offer us as a resource and you know, for everybody else. And obviously, if we can help you and you can help us, that's great. Then it's a win-win for everybody, for us to be able to serve and also get services that a lot of your agencies already provide. It's just a matter of us plugging in. So if you have any more questions for me, please direct them to Maha. I'm sure she'll get in contact with me. I thank everybody for their time, and I wish everyone to have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe, Nazar. Okay. Little known fact, he is a Broward Sheriff Office. He worked for the Broward Sheriff's Office, so we thank him for his service. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through this. I know that Nazar spoke of the history of the Muslim community in South Florida, but just to give you an idea, Broward County has over a dozen Islamic centers. Palm Beach County has multiple Islamic centers, and Miami-Dade has several Islamic centers. So we are all over South Florida. And I know Nazar also spoke of like, who is the Muslim community? And there's this idea that when you reference the Muslim community, you're referencing the Arab world, when in reality, that's just not the case. This is, you know, a brief overview of some numbers that the Muslim community, Muslim American community, is the most diverse religious group in the United States, 35% being African American, 28% being white, 18% being Asian, 1% being Hispanic, and this number is rising, and 18% other. We're also very diverse as it pertains to, you know, our beliefs and our views. So 39% consider themselves moderate, 28% liberal, 20% are politically conservative. So it's just to get an understanding that there are so many different perspectives in the Muslim community. There are 24% of the world's population, approximately 1.8 billion people, consider themselves Muslim. 3.45 million Muslims reside in the United States. And the state of Florida is the 7th largest Muslim population in the United States. And that's why it's really, really important that we be able to engage you and that you be able to engage us. If you have questions, dialogue is everything, breaking down barriers, and just gaining an understanding. So what can we do for you? I know we've touched on this a bit, but these are some of the services that we can provide for you. Islam 101 classes, which is basically something that we provide to universities or to different classrooms or to different agencies that just want a basic understanding of what is Islam, because there's all these really interesting preconceived notions that we get. So Islam 101 classes, Islam and African American history seminars, which it's kind of one of my favorite things to teach. And I just accidentally did that. Okay, here we go. And I usually do that in Black History Month, where we really teach, you know, what is the foundation of this country. It's built on the backs of slaves from Africa, who many of them were Muslim. Many of them carried that identity. And in Palm Beach, when they were building the airport, they found a shack in the woods when they were clearing the land, and it was something built. It was built by former slaves, or they were slaves when they built it, who would escape the plantations to make Friday prayer. And they built this structure, and they had handwritten scripture from memory. So it goes to show you just how far back our history goes, even in South Florida. We do cultural sensitivity trainings, whether it be for the courthouse, for attorneys, for government agencies, for different agencies that generally just want cultural sensitivity training. It could be law enforcement, interfaith events. Again, the way we conquer hatred and fear is through interfaith events. They're so critical. If your church, your synagogue, or whatever religious background you are, if you're doing an event and you want the Muslim community to be involved and to partner with you, we would love to do that. Dialogue between government agencies and the Muslim community. It's often that the community just doesn't know who to speak to or who to address what questions to. So we sometimes have these forums, and they've been via Zoom, where we communicate, we have that government official there and the community comes on and they ask them whatever questions they want, or the agency can say, okay, we don't have a really clear understanding of the community's needs as it pertains to this or this. And we can resolve those concerns or those issues. Building bridges to open dialogue between law enforcement and South Florida Muslim community. This is a big one. It's really important, whether it is law enforcement or, you know, the state attorney's office or the attorney general's office, whatever it is, to build these bridges again, to have that dialogue and to say, okay, these are the fears from the community, or this is why, you know, some of the community is afraid to reach out to law enforcement, or this is what we think of law enforcement, or these are concerns that we're having. And we do have officers within law enforcement. Nizar Hamzi is an example of that. Guidance in serving the Muslim community in foster care, adoption, and other social services. We did discuss that already briefly. And again, this to me is one of the most important things. You know, it's children being removed from a structure that they're used to, and not really having guidance as far as what their needs are from the Muslim community. Civic engagement, community and media outreach, assisting with inmate religious needs. Sometimes this is as simple as an email. I get it, and I reach out and I'll tell them, hey, this prison needs 500 Qur'ans, you know, somebody send it. Or this prison needs prayer rugs, or this prison needs, you know, some sort of educational assistance in this area, and we'll provide that. COVID relief and natural disaster relief. We'll have somebody else, Abdurraouf Khan, I think he is on. We'll be discussing that at length. So those are some of the things that we can do for you. And I turn it over to Abdurraouf Khan, who will introduce you to our Social Service Council.
Good afternoon, all of you. I'm hoping all of you have a better day. And I can understand, and for South Florida, everybody thinking this is cold weather. So we are feeling a cold, living in South Florida. My name is Abdurraouf Khan. I'm very proud to present our Social Service Council. I would say we have 6 organizations with a lot of Islamic Center, but these are the organizations you see on the screen. They are the one who provide services here in our homeland and outside the United States, where it is ICNA Relief, IFSF Food Pantry, Islamic Relief, BUSMA, Friends of Humanity, and Helping Hands. What we do, we go out in the community and utilize our Muslim community resources and help our fellow Americans, those who are needed the most. The next slide, sister. Social Service Council, if you go to the next slide, these are the social service we provide: referral services, financial assistance, family services, healthcare, hunger prevention, youth services, empowerment, education, leadership. All the services, you know, is available for the South Florida community, not just only for Muslim community, community in large. We are proud to have these services for people, those who need it, and that's why we created that coalition. Next slide. Then I'll give you a detail in the end. Alhamdulillah, in COVID-19, Sima, can you go? We did many seminars and webinars updating our community about COVID-19 and how to deal with that. We brought a lot of doctors and experts and attorneys, as Sister Maha and Brother Nidar spoke earlier about what the need of the community. So we updated our community, what to do, what not to do, what is the right way of living here in America, and what's law-abiding citizen. So it was very useful information, and it was very helpful. And I would say, I mean, we have very good attendance. People really appreciate that. And I would like to offer all of you, if you would like to have any of this seminar or webinar, please contact at info@southflorida.com. So definitely we can share with you this information and be part of that. And if any of you would like us to present any of these webinars, I'd be more than happy to do it with you, inshallah. The next slide is COVID-19 relief efforts. These efforts was done by the coalition with the Organization of Friends of Humanity, Economic Relief, Islamic Relief, like we mentioned earlier, with Helping Hand, Basma, and Broward Council of MSAs. All these services, we realize as the Muslim community, being here in America, have a responsibility to help our fellow Americans. So as a Muslim living here, we are not a consumer of the society. We are proudly say we are a contributor of the society. So we deliver about over 19,000 food boxes to needy in our community, about almost 948,000 pounds of food distributed, 63,000 individual, those who came to our doors, and we approached them and especially deliver food to our senior citizen houses, those who specifically for COVID-19, they couldn't get out the houses. We went and deliver food and masses to their doorsteps. And so far, about over 50,000 face masks distributed through distribution at the sites and Islamic centers and community centers, and those who need it, please contact us. We're more than happy to do it, and as many we can, because we want to make sure our community is secured and everybody is safe. And during our Ramadan iftar meal, we did over 800 plus meals of people, those who are suffering, because during Ramadan, all of you know, we fast, and at the end of the day, you know, our brothers and sisters, those who are not able to break the fast without any challenging situation they're going through, so we provide meals for them. So that was very helpful for our community, and people, especially that were not part of our faith, we invite them to come and have a meal with us. We did distribution, next slide. We did distribution with a lot of Islamic centers, over 200,000, 20,000 financial assistance was giving, and that number had raised now, I think, about 25 to 30,000 so far now. The people, those who come to our Islamic centers and organization, people were struggling with the rental assistance and food supplies and other needs, and those who cannot, they're not able to pay for the rents. That we help them pay for the utilities bills and rent, for order for us to have a mutual understanding and have a peace in our community. So we wanted to be part of the community. So, so the purpose. Can you go to the next slide? We did a lot of about 300 families served at Al Masjid Ansar, and a lot of other masajid we serve in different Islamic center was utilized for the location. We did 3 events in Palm Beach County, about 3 to 5 events in Broward County, and 3 to 5 events in Miami-Dade County. And a lot of events happen at Islamic centers, and other events we did in community centers, because some people were not aware of the Islamic center, where they exist. So we went out in the community, did the events for them. Last part, as COVID-19 tests, it was there is the need for a COVID-19 test. We did over 345 free COVID-19 testing to our partners with Park American Clinics, Friends of Humanity, and Economic Relief. And we went, I would say, about 25 locations, and in our community, it was not mosque. We did in different community centers and Islamic centers. We went out and asked people, those who cannot do it themselves, we went to them with our doctors and experts, and they were consulting and helping people, those who are struggling with any of this stuff. Last thing is back to school. It was COVID-19. We do it every year. We do it over about 2,000 plus back to school we distribute every year. But this year, because of COVID-19, it was very restricted. We had to be careful about keeping a distance, and we taught people not going to school, but they still need book supplies, and they need a backpack. So we give about 1,300, over 1,350 backpacks in Tri County areas with supplies and masks, and some of the students, those who cannot they have requested we give them laptops and some other equipment for them to go to school online. So there is, and the last part, I just want to give you a bigger perspective of that. Overall, here in South Florida or in a bigger and in America, we have over 53 women transition homes. They're run by Muslim organization. When people need it for them, any sister, those who get affected by any calamity, get divorced or domestic violence, anything, we keep them and help them become self-sufficient. There's 56 of them. About 148 food pantries exist here in America for them to the people to come and get help, and they get benefit from it. And without any color, race, and religion, we just offer them help because we want them to be a positive member of society, and we want to make sure people feel we are part of Khair. We have about 12 or 14 locations of free clinics. They provide 100% free medical services. We have 7 mobile clinics. If any of you like us to come to your locations and your community centers, we have a mobile clinic. We can come and have a clinic with the doctors and everything. The mobile clinic is in RV. So we have all, basically is a clinic. We'll drive everywhere and we can have that service with you. We have about 17 refugee resource centers because in the last few years, we have a lot of refugees are coming. So we thought it's a good idea for them to train them how to become self-sufficient as early as possible. So in the Refugee Resource Center, we train them to become self-sufficient and become a positive member of society instead of waiting for us to help them over and over. So this is a quick review. If I'm more than happy to answer anything, or if I miss anything, Sister Ma, you can add it, please.
Oh, thank you. You did a great job. Brother Yunus, I think, wanted to make a comment, and
Sure.
he's very active with social services.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to add an item, a new project, a new initiative that we are undertaking, which has just come about in the last couple of days, which is hurricane relief for Honduras and the other surrounding countries, Guatemala, Nicaragua. So we will be sending a container of food supplies for the relief of Honduran as a result of the 2 hurricanes that they suffered, Eta and Iota. There has been, serious, devastating impact on all the citizens. Hundreds of thousands of residents are now living in shelters. So I just wanted to add that item because this is just right now coming up in the last couple of days, and the next few weeks we'll be putting a container together for Honduras.
Oh, thank you for reminding me, Brother Yunus. I forgot to mention we are disaster respond, one of those organizations. We respond as a Muslim, work with FEMA and Red Cross and our local agencies, but we respond as the identity of a Muslim. When we go, we help people, those who really need it. We respond to here in America, any disaster happen. We responded to Bahamas and Haiti, and last year we went to Puerto Rico. The South Florida community was very generous to support all the initiatives done by our community, and we were very helpful. And we would like to offer all of you, any of you would like us to be partner with you, just send us an email, but definitely we'll come and have a discussion and we can move better communication and collaboration.
Thank you so much for that overview, and thank you for all the work that you do. It is fantastic, and I know today was a rough day for you to come on, so we thank you for taking that time with us. All right, so the next portion of this presentation is outreach. I've already touched up on a lot of it. I am the South Florida Community Outreach Representative for the Federation. This is my team up here, and again, we do several discussions with government officials if there are questions pertaining to certain situations. The one with Commissioner Furr had to do with COVID-19 and dealing with several issues with law enforcement. And we have this colorism and Black racism, dealing with mistakes within our Muslim community and trying to educate a little bit on how to get more involved in fighting racial injustice. We've we've been involved in several rallies. Again, this is just civil engagement and doing what's right and advocating for justice. And we've teamed up with the Haitian community and several other communities, the Jewish community, the Broward Sheriff's Candidate Forum. This just gives a forum for the community to meet the candidates, to really understand what they stand for and who they are, and for the candidate to meet us and to understand that we're here and we're here in numbers, and we vote. And mandatory reporting training. This is addressing, these are several imams in this picture, addressing sexual abuse or child abuse, and what the procedure is, and how to call the abuse hotline, and how to really support survivors and help them move forward, and just make sure that they know that they haven't done anything wrong. This was Juneteenth at Masjid al-Ansar. Again, you'll see a lot revolving around Masjid al-Ansar. It is the most historic mosque in South Florida. You can see it right off the 95 when you're driving. So these are several things that my committee has done. So again, the sexual abuse resource list. So here it would be important again to deal with our experts in this area in the community, whether it's SATC or ChildNet or DCF or BSO. And this is just trying to tie our community to the outside community and the areas of expertise in that area. And, you know, this is Florida Muslim Capital Day. I don't know, is Afifa on here? Did you want to talk a little bit about Muslim Capital Day?
For sure. So we have been doing Muslim Capital Day. It's basically, introducing Muslims and Muslim issues in Tallahassee. We take students from different Islamic schools on Muslim Capital Day to ensure that there is cross-learning where, elected officials are learning about the issues related to Muslim community. At the same time, our students are learning about Tallahassee and what's happening in legislative session and how can we advocate more effectively for our community. We normally do it in conjunction with many other organizations, and some of you are present on this call also. We also do Refugee Day, normally a day after the Muslim or a day before the Muslim Capital Day.
Perfect. Thank you, Afifa. And I think what's important to understand is like the issues that the Muslim community is concerned about. A lot of those issues are parallel to what the rest of the community is concerned about. So I know in 2020, I was not there, but Afifa, you can correct me if I'm wrong. There were issues that came up regarding criminal justice reform, school safety, medical clinics, and free access to healthcare. So again, if there are issues in the community that we are not aware of, and you all want to make the community more aware of a particular issue so we can stand with you in that issue, please let us know. We want to stand with you on issues because very, very often, more often than not, your issues are our issues. The same people who are violent against the Jewish community are violent against the Muslim community. The same people who discriminate against the African American community discriminate against the Muslim community, which is 35% African American. So, at the end of the day, it's one community, and we just need to break down those barriers. Thank you, Afifa. Okay, and the census. Afifa, were you involved in the census, or Samir, would you want to discuss this?
I can quickly go over it. So again, making sure that our community is counted during the census program, because, again, because of Islamophobia and related issues, there was fear in Muslim community, how the census is being conducted, what information will be gathered, all of that kind of stuff. So South Florida Muslim Federation and Engage partnered with a lot of different organizations to ensure that we're not only just we are counting the Muslims, but we're counting them accurately, just educating them about the concerns and just guiding census officials on how to effectively communicate the census message to Muslim community.
Thank you. Okay, and so our recent campaigns, we did a campaign called Serve and Not Divide. I don't have the video. Samir, do you have it? Do you want to share that? And again, Muslim Voters Day, where we encourage the Muslim community to go out, register to vote, and Muslim Voting Town Hall. Again, these are things that we're involved in. If there are issues that we need to know about, we want you to engage us, let us know. And that basically completes the summary. I don't know if Samir, you have that a clip of that Serve and Not Divide campaign. It was basically an interfaith campaign where Muslims, Christians, and the Jewish community came together to say, you know, we want people who represent us politically to serve us and to connect us and not to divide us.
Okay,
Yeah,
Maha,
sure.
if you can, okay, go ahead.
You want me to stop
Uh, uh,
sharing and share?
Yeah. Why don't we share the video? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This was a really nice video, and I believe some of our participants from other communities are on the call. I believe Pastor Jim Cook, I did see him. So I think he's on the call, and he's also in the video that you're about to see. Do you want to share it, Sana, or would you like me to?
I'll share it. It's okay.
Okay. All right, go ahead. I think we're not getting the audio. Could you turn it up? Or?
Yeah, the audio is not clear. When you share a screen, it could, it asks you to do it with the sound, or I can't remember exactly.
There should be 2 check boxes under, but if we are having technical issues, we can always drop the link in the chat.
Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, so at this point, I'd like to open the floor for questions. I couldn't access the comments before, and now I am. So, Master Benabi, are you on here still? Yes, you are. Okay, so you said, can you share the curriculum for African American history? I would love to. So it's my curriculum. I love it. It's really fun to teach. It's like my favorite thing in the world to do. So I can share that with you. I have it really old school, and I have to make it more electronically friendly because I'm very hands-on, and I give them these big posters of these figures, and I make them pretend they're the person, and it's really interactive. And I don't like teaching on Zoom, but I will give that to you. Just email me and I'll give it to you for sure. And I'd love to come to Peak and teach it. Yes. Okay. Let me see if there are any other questions. How many groups make up the Muslim Federation? It's approximately 35 entities. However, we obviously have access to all of the entities in South Florida. So if there is a Muslim entity that would serve your needs that is not under our umbrella, but we know that they will be of assistance to you, we can guide you in that direction. The refugee centers throughout Florida. I don't think I know of a refugee center. I may be wrong. I don't know if Brother Yunus can correct me on this, but I do know that when we had an influx of some of the Syrian refugees, that we would house them, and there were different homes throughout the different counties, and we just knew where they were, and we would go assist and you know, try to make them self-sufficient. Does anybody know of a refugee center? If you direct the question to the email, I can get you that answer.
Your brother Yunus and sister
Brother Yunus
Basma.
This is Brother Yunus. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Sama is correct. We don't have a center per se. However, you know, starting back in 2017-18, when Syrian refugees started to come in, we formed a committee It's called Syrian South Florida Refugee Assistance Committee, and several organizations that have been mentioned before are part of that committee. And and through the committee, we received 65 Syrian families, and thank God, we have been able to help them from looking for apartments, finding jobs, and financial assistance as well. And the committee is still active. Again, fortunately, many of the families have settled down here and are now contributing members of the society, but we stand by to service any and all refugees that may need our services.
Thank you, Brother Yunus. And little known fact, in the 90s, we had an influx of Bosnian refugees. And we had, in my house, we had a family of Bosnians living there until we found them homes and jobs. So in our community, when there are refugees, we take that very seriously. And I was doing a project, there was one foster care agency that wanted to bring in young girls who survived the genocides that are happening, unfortunately, globally, and they needed Muslim homes. So we did license some families to bring some of those young girls here to safety, hopefully. So those are projects that we do work on. Are there any other questions, comments? Okay. I read yesterday that FPL was turning off 30,000 people's electricity for non-payment since the moratorium expired. Are you seeing an increase in financial aid services since the pandemic? Again, that's a Brother Yunus question. That is terrifying.
If I may, no, we have not received any surge in requests for financial assistance due to Florida FPL's actions. However, we have seen a surge because of COVID-19, people losing their jobs, the unemployment checks running out, and so that we are experiencing. But we have not seen anything yet regarding the FPL disconnections.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, well, we thank you all for joining us. And again, if you have questions that you would like to ask us personally, if you need any assistance from us, you can reach us on our email or on the website, soflomuslims.com. And we would love to be of service to you. I've seen some faces on here I haven't seen in many, many years. So this was a huge blessing. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Everybody have a great, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Pastor Ray Whiteley, and I am so humbled and honored to be here. I was just taking in all the good stuff. This has been an organization that I've been excited about learning more about and just being a part of. I represent multiple organizations, but I'm most proud to represent Faith in a Florida organization as the Palm Beach County organizer, the spokesperson for Boynton Beach Coalition of Clergy, and members of the Palm Beach County Clergy Alliance. So most proud of that work and excited to connect, and let's get to work.
Yes, I love it. I love that you joined us. Thank you. It's an honor to have you. And again, if anybody wants a one-on-one with us, or if you want to have a discussion and speak more at length on what we can do, I would love to hear one of you.
This is Marie. I serve the members of the Florida Immigrant Coalition. I want to say thank you so much for having this space and inviting us, and for your leadership. And I wanted to acknowledge Afifa, because she's not only a labor leader and a mother, wife, and community leader, but she's also the chair of the board of the Florida Immigrant Coalition. And so you are well represented in the immigrant rights movement. So thank you so much to Afifa and to the rest of the leadership of the Muslim Federation.
Thank you. And yes, Afifa is a gem. I love her. She is a powerhouse. And Maria, thank you for the work that you do. I know these last 4 years have been quite the challenge. So thank you for not getting tired of the fight. And, you know, thank you for being here.
It's okay to be tired and it's okay to be afraid as long as we move forward, keep on keeping on. So thank you.
I agree. I agree. Keep on keeping on. Thank you. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. On that note, I greet you all with the Muslim greeting of Assalamu alaikum. May the peace and blessings be upon you all. Have a great afternoon. Have a good weekend, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Bye, Maha.
Bye. Skip, it's
Salaam.
great.
Bye, Maha.
This is like a big reunion for me.
Yeah, it's such a great excuse and such a great opportunity. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Benabi. I'll teach your class. All right. Assalamu alaikum.